The Brazilian shag for me is a classic that I created. That whole samba, that whole culture of dance and movement, dancey hair, that no matter which way they flick, their face is always good.
I like this really long hair on her, so I'm gonna actually barely cut the length at all, just the very split ends maybe, but this long layer, I'm definitely going to cut and shape that around her face, so we're gonna get like a really long layered haircut. Since her hair is a little bit more straight naturally, I'm going to do it a bit more precise, a bit more sectional and technical. In order to get those front layers, I section from the crown to the side. This is my first section. So I comb the rest in the back, do the same on the other side. As you can see, the sideburn is still part of the back. Long, I want to make sure that I don't cut that too short. So I'm trying to comb it all up and forward. Because then it's the opposite direction from which I want the layers to fall, because the layers have to kind of flake backwards. So I'm pulling it exactly the opposite direction. A little bit more forward. So it looks like I'm cutting the hair quite short, but keep in mind that this hair comes all the way from the back, so this is longer than this hair, and it's going to fall backwards. Right, so these were my initial snips. Here they come. I do one more time to see if some bits dropped out of my section. You can already see long layers appearing now on the side. I just think this part is still too long because I estimated the chin. To me, they're too long now, so I take a slightly smaller triangle up really on top of the head and do just that bit a bit shorter. Again, combing it forward. Now the layers are starting to go next to her face rather than under her face. You see, this was our first section. This is the section right after. This length is where we have to start blending. So my same old trick of twisting hair around. And as you see, this first short layer falls out. So from about there, I'm gonna cut into this bit. So I'll hold my fingers right there. See, it starts blending, but in a bit unruly way. Otherwise we get those perfect little pieces that are like very symmetrical. Again, I direct it forward. The length falls out that I want, so from there. As I slide down with my fingers, the length where I want to be falls out, and that's where I stop. And then I start a little higher and end a little lower. So again, I simplified my whole haircut a lot by just skipping a lot of steps, a lot of little layers. I took big sections, and that makes your haircut look a little bit more abrupt. You know, it's almost symmetrical. Here there is a bit that's a little longer. Go back over it. It's this one here. See, these fall out. I do it again from my fingers towards the scalp rather than the other way around. Doesn't hurt that way. If I feel my scissors go into the hair too deep, I can let go of the tension so the hair falls out of my scissors. So I have more control that way. Basically that is the whole cut, you know, on this sort of hair for me. Like when it's dry, I might play like a little bit with thinning scissors in the very, very front bit. But if you turn from the back, you can see the V-shaped layers from shorter to longer to longer to longer to a point. You can do any kind of styling to the hair now if you like, and the hair will always help you out. You can see that it's a V. Now these bits look a bit scraggly to me, so I want to keep it as long as possible, so literally cutting minimal amounts of hair of these ends just to make them healthy, and that's it. Turn to the front. I kind of like these very, very front bits. I think now they're obstructing the lips, so I'm gonna just make sure that they're sort of just below the nose or just on the nose, so her mouth comes out of the hair. Be a bit more unorthodox with the front. Right above the lip, let's say, a little bit. Again, like from the lip. And then I also want to do it the other way, so if she side parts it this way, it also has a really nice flow, because she might be styled many which ways and not just the one way. So it's nice if the hair can go forward, backwards, left, right, especially with long layers. Check always your layers that there's a flow in every direction once you're done. Amazing what one snip in the right place can do, huh?